Hello, Yala. Molweni Yala. Leanyeni Saya. Y'all deserve this. I don't feel like as a country we should be saying anything about, oh my god, it's Annika Little Rainbow Nation. Okay, Rainbow. Yeah, Rainbow now. Yeah, Rainbow. What you gonna do? What you gonna say? But it's me, small town TV, your Harry on this year internet. Akastrach. Molweni Yala. I am back. Hello, Yala. Yala. Also, we're reviewing the real City Makoti. It's a new thing on, is it Mzansi? I don't know, because I was watching it on my phone and with the DSTV app. There's 3 episodes in, and they're nice and cute and short. You can catch up, and they drop the episodes on Fridays. I was on Annika's channel trying to learn the Makotis a little better, because it looks like all of them, if it's 4 of them, have a social media presence or sort, so other people know them already, and I didn't follow any of them. Makoti content there's no draw there's no pull for me, so I don't really follow anybody whose content is centered around being tethered to a man. Like, that's their personality, and that's what they've decided to monetize. There's no pull there's no draw, but I am a reality television fiend, so there's a draw here in that, oh my god, like, people want to let us into their lives. I think they're awfully brave. I think people on reality television who really bear their real selves, awfully brave. Even the ones who, for all its pitfalls, monetizing and commodifying their romantic relationships online and stuff, obviously motivated by money and all of that stuff, awfully brave still, because to put yourself essentially in a fishbowl, have people gawking at you, us coming on here to have opinions of like bits of your life that we're seeing, and then we have these like sweeping statements about your character and things like that. It takes a lot, especially like we're inroads now with reality television, right? So people know what can come of that situation. The divorces that come out of reality television, showing more than you thought you were gonna show, because you're not really in charge of what ends up on film, or you are, but like, shit happens, right? All of that stuff, and people are still willing to sign up for these things for their own selfish like reasons. Obviously money at the core of it. It's still brave. I still think it's really brave, because there are plenty of other people who turn it down and they're like, I don't need people all up in my business like that. We have other people who agree to stuff, they come onto our television screens and they give us nothing. Horrible. But they want all the stuff that comes with the fame or the notoriety or whatever. They want to find ways to monetize those things while giving us nothing. And I think with most of them, the breakdown, the translation of like, my audience, I'm a fan favorite, to being able to really make product or use your likeness to sell product. The reason it doesn't work, especially for South African television, the style of it, not like the Jerry Springer, like, because like it's levels to the shit, right? It doesn't work because a lot of them come in front of us here and try to sell us a fake narrative and like believing the audience is dumb. Then we don't bond with you, and you're surprised that when you're selling us tea, we're not buying it. There's nothing about you that gives off you just drink tea so much, you know. And you having a platform on Real Housewives does not equal I'm gonna buy your tea. Like, I'm not sold on you being that. Like, just not. You do better as an MC hosting events with a good lineup, having other people on there and all of that stuff. Y'all know who I'm talking about. But anyway, let's get into this for a bit. I'm gonna see, I think I'll start with Linda, because so far we don't really have shit on Linda. I have nothing to say about Linda. I watched the 3 episodes at a go last night when I was doing my steps. They're fixing my daddy's van. So let me see. I don't miss nothing on Linda. I didn't. Give us nothing. I'm sorry. She seems like a sweet, wholesome face card. Goes crazy. Her face card is crazy to me. I don't even want to lie, y'all. And they start with her, and we didn't really get much. I'm just gonna skip that. We didn't get much on Linda in the 3 episodes, except like the background of her. Looks like she lived in the States for a while with her man. I think she's 1 kid. You know, she tells the story of like getting pregnant and being told that she needs to come back home and all of that stuff. There's nothing there. Like right now, I feel like she's like fading into the back, and the other people are already giving us drama to work with from jump. So she's going to disappear into them. Which makes a little bit of sense, because she comes on as somebody she belongs on those shows where the people think they're not going to give us much. In fact, I don't believe we see her man. No, I don't think we did. She can't be on here. I'm sorry. Face card goes crazy, but no, you can't be on here, Miss Ma'am. Like, no. No. I don't think I forgot anything. I think she gave nothing. Okay? And then we're gonna move on to Gneilwe. Gneilwe is part of these new age, or not really new age, but I guess now profitable to say you're in one of these setups and try to monetize it somehow through social media or television, since Musam Seliku did that and stuff. We have Gneilwe, who is the first wife, or was escalated to being first wife to a traditional healer of sorts, and it's 3 of them. We didn't really hear much from the youngest wife. They all look so young compared to that man. I don't know if we're gonna get far. They keep revving it. I can't yell. She's having some fertility issues. She's giving us a lot to work with. Access to her man. This is what we want. We want the entire unit to sign up. We want to see the dynamics. Them as a I don't think I should be recording now. I think I'm gonna come back and try to record when they're done, because they're gonna keep starting the car and stuff. I'll be back. Hello, ek is terug. It's much later. Much later. I was doing a marinade without an apron on, and I'm not taking this off. I'm not. It's late. It's like almost 10. No, it's 18 past 10. I'm having a cup of coffee because I feel like it. Like a splash of cream. So good. No sugar. No sugar, no sweetener of any kind. And your palate gets used to it. Okay? And then it's good for you or something. Well, the coffee in itself is not. But like, I'm saying the no sugar element. Okay. My oven's on. That clicking, do you see? How do they point? Doesn't matter. There. The red lights. Doesn't matter. My oven's on. So if you hear like a click type of sound, that's what that is. Because it can be loud, a little bit loud sometimes. But let's get into this. Gneilwe is the one in a polygamous situation. There are 3 wives. I don't know the order in which they were initially put, but she was, according to her, escalated to being first wife. There's Khonse, who's not really part of the cast. Oh, this is what I was saying. I was saying they have the ingredients for the making of a reality show. They do, right? The wives are young and pretty. The man thinks he's wise and gets to like play Gobela. That dynamic is very interesting to me. How that's just become this thing that if you are a traditional healer, you must be a polygamist. Like, that is so interesting to me. I know it's not new. I can think of like It's always with men though, and that's why I don't like the idea of consulting with a male traditional healer. Is like, I'm never doing that shit. I'm not dealing with you. Here's the thing about me, I don't think men are connected to the divine. Is this controversial? Is it going to hurt feelings? Sure. Men seek power, and they seek power to do what you're seeing in the Epstein files, right? That is their conditioning or their nature. Who fucking knows at this point? So they're attracted to the spiritual realm, or the positioning of one being connected to the realm, because they understand that it puts them in a position of power where they're able to exploit women and femmes. And that's what we've been seeing across our screens for the past couple of years. Just as disgusting. And we can try to run away from it and say, oh no. And because we were stripped of our customs and cultures and our belief systems and our practices and our way of connecting with spirit by force, by law, you know, all of that stuff that was done to us. A lot of us don't know, myself included, we don't know what is what. So if somebody speaks with authority and they say, no, this is how you connect to spirit or whatever, and they are convincing enough with their act, most of us don't have the discernment around that thing, mostly because we were raised in these Abrahamic faiths that the whole premise of them don't make fucking sense, right? So it teaches you not to question things already. So you're kind of primed for it, as it were. I mean, you fucking believe a virgin gave birth. We have problems here. We do. I'm sorry. And because of that, men are able to occupy these positions. And because men have gall, if nothing else, they have density and fucking gall. That's what they have in bucket loads, right? They can take on a position of something they believe, first of all, according to Abrahamic teachings and bastardized versions of African spirituality, that they are like entitled to positions of leadership, that they are above you as per these faiths that we come from, that we were raised in, rather, right, that were imposed on us. So they do well in being in that position and cosplaying and doing all of that stuff. And I'm just like, no. If the element of power wasn't there, and the element of being put in a position where you could exploit or somebody could look to you for, if those things weren't there, and was just like a selfless thing as it was supposed to be, right? Because it's a calling. It disrupts you from your dreams and ambitions, and it's like, nah, dog. Spirit says your mission is this. You're here to fucking do this, right? That's why it's so hard for people, because you now have to grieve the life that you had planned out for yourself, and you're not being told this is your purpose, this is why you were put here, this is your journey, right? If it was all of that, right, still in its real essence, and you were a servant of the people led by spirit, we would not see men in droves trying to position themselves as traditional healers. We wouldn't. This is such a tangent, but it's really what I believe. They're not connected to like the birth process the way that most people identify as women are. They're not connected to source and creator and stuff. They just fucking aren't, which is why they're such angry people, which is how the Epstein files, one of the ways that it comes about, that anger. I think we underestimate how, what is the word? Jealous, little jelly men are of the power that people with wombs have to bring forth life. That you can see it in the religions that they constructed. Like you've heard the people tell you, right? They had to, put a man in place and make it such that it's the man who died for you on the cross. No man is that fucking selfless, bitch. Get the fuck out of my face. Nobody's dying for you, babe. Like, not a man. Not a man. Men don't do that self-sacrificing shit, baby. They don't even do it for the whites from their fucking loins. What are you on about even? But I must believe that my guide, my spiritual guide on the physical plane is going to be a man. Me, personally, pause. I will never, it will never, I'm telling you now, they say me some shit like that is because they don't want me to hear. They want me to listen. I know some of you come from the school of thought that, oh, the packaging, the message will come. Well, if they want me to hear, they better send a messenger that look like I want to hear from them. They need to work on that. All right. So anyway, in these positions, they're always men who are, here's Kinelo now, working herself to the bone. They almost mirror themselves in this instance that she seems to be encountering some fertility issues, right? And I like that this is something that we're getting to talk about a lot, because there's been a lot of shame around it for such a long time, especially for Black women, where it's like, it's your fault. It's like you did something. Like, you know, stimulate this gift because you've done something. You need to atone for something, or something is the matter with you, whatever the issue is. And then I looked at that man of hers. I don't know how old he is. Okay. If you're new here, I was like made from geriatric sperm. Love my dad. This is his sweater. Wonderful. Everything's fine. That doesn't change the fact that he was fucking 40. Okay? And maybe that's why I run 5 thoughts at a time, and I want to say all 5 thoughts at a time. It's not going great. This thing of you much younger women trying to reproduce with these like much older men and then wearing the entire thing as a fault of yours. I understand Khonse has, Kinelo has a diagnosis. I think they're saying fibroids or whatever. And this man of hers wanting to play God. Why? Because does not have a birth canality. So he needs to play creator by these means. That's what they want. Access to that power that you guys give away to men every day. For free, for nothing. Put their names on it. Tell us about their fucking legacy. I can't stand you guys. Like, it is what it is. Live your life, girl. Okay. But the point is, he says to Kinelo, the wife now, oh, much like Musamseleku saying to the woman struggling with fertility issues, and there's now advances in modern medicine where she could seek help, and she's like really losing hope. It's defining her as a woman, and we see her much like Makumalo on the other show, working overtime to earn her keep. You know, she's the reliable one. She's the soldier. Yeah, that's how she had to be escalated, right? Because she has to work harder to prove that, fine, I'm not multiplying this little surrogacy thing that we're doing here by way of bringing more kids into this like weird setup that we're calling a family here. I'm not doing that. So what can I do to prove that I'm still valuable? Oh, ding, 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 ding. A woman, I know, work myself to the bone, work myself silly, bend over backwards to the point of being a walkover because, well, I haven't made a baby. So then it means I need to prove why I still deserve to be part of this family unit. I was disgusted, completely disgusted by Khonse, his sister wife, who was sitting with the husband, and they were discussing the fertility issues, and then they're talking about, I know she's been trying for a long time. How long has it been now? And then Khonse goes 28 years or some shit like that and chuckles. And then they both chuckle about it, and then she calls the husband to the room to have a talk about it, right? Like, why would you chuckle? Like, why are you giggling at something that's such a painful experience for me? Because he's getting to have kids, babe. You're in it on like all by yourself, my dear. Eh? It's your journey. That's your fucking struggle. Khonse and the other girl, he gets to be a dad. This is why you hoes also need to stop saying we're pregnant. You're not. Just you are, bitch. Okay? This is your journey, and he gets to witness. Okay, what? Who's doing the... Who? Is it a we? I don't see a we. Do you see a we? I don't. that is your pain to carry. And I don't care enough to have my body prodded and poked and, semen retrieved. I don't want to go through all of that just so you can be a mom and we can be parents to the same child. I don't want to go through that. So I'm going to deny you. And because you're a dumb bitch, you're going to let me deny you the opportunity to be somebody's biological mom. Because I'm your man and I'm the head and but y'all are apparently the neck turning every which way but to a fertility clinic, bitch. I don't know. I don't even know I was. My sweater is now off because it got hot in here. And then I had to stop what I'm doing. I had to work. I had to see to the other meet that I was busy with, and that happened. But we're back, and I don't know where I was, but I'm going to try to catch my beat. And I was probably complaining or going on and on about how men and Ed, and we need to stop trying to act like we're talking about the fertility issues. See? But yeah. I feel like with the advances that have been made in like modern, because they know it sounds like Kinele has an official diagnosis to say this is what's the matter, it can be fixed. Her husband, again, you guys, I don't understand how, I'll never understand because it's my body, like it's mine and the rules will always be mine. And if I ask your opinion and I want to take into account the opinion of the people around me, cool. That's it. Ultimately, the final decision rests with me. But these setups, these patriarchal setups that you guys put yourselves in where your husband get final say over things like this, because he's the one saying that she shouldn't get her fibroids removed. Mind you, we don't know how it's affecting her on an everyday, right? Because people who are living with fibroids will let you know. Okay, I've got a number of people in my life who've had to get the surgery as a matter of emergency because it was now debilitating to go about life with this situation, especially around certain times of your cycle and things like that. So it's like we're not even taking into account that he's looking to, it feels like to me, as is typical of men, right? He's looking to play doctor with your body and you're allowing it to happen because me or something. That's that shit that I can never get behind. I can never get behind that shit, baby. Like, it's never gonna be me. Don't call me. I love when people say you wouldn't understand because marriage, you're correct. Correct. That's the one time you get to be right. I wouldn't understand because marriage, babe. It's okay. It's okay. I don't get it. Oh my God, I'm so slow. Whatever. I don't care. Like, I'm never going to get it. He wants to play doctor, so he's like, no. There's a traditional healer that I saw her work on TikTok. On TikTok, I saw her work, or I think he did say her. And she deals with reproductive health issues from a traditional, because we are cultural people and we practice our medicine this way. Not that I don't think he's altogether saying they don't do modern medicine, otherwise they wouldn't have gone through the gynae and gotten a diagnosis to begin with, right? And it could be a number of things, right? His sperm count, like once they remove the fibroids, maybe there's another hurdle. I was actually listening to a doctor talk about fibroids because, again, I look up on it a lot because I've got people that are very close to me in my life that are struggling with this, and I want to know what they're going through. I'm also a woman. Things are happening in my body. Do you understand what I'm saying? But fibroids themselves don't necessarily, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not a medical whatever, but people get pregnant all the time when they have the fibroids. The issue comes at the occupation of space of said fibroid, especially if they've like solidified and the baby trying to grow and find room, and now it's too, like, that's where the issues and obstructions start to happen and things like that. So the issue could be other things here in addition to or coupled with. It could be other things going on, and I wonder if he would be willing to go through the necessary tests and stuff, have his body poked and prodded. If she was like, no, I know this nyanga this side who can do this, does he get to go? Does he go because she suggested it? But he now wants to go through the stuff, and he's saying that he is getting, or she says, they both say that they've been through the journey of him getting spirit coming through to say mix this concoction for her, have her go on this to purge or whatever, or to shrink them, whatever the issue is. And she says they often like make her ill, so maybe they're too potent, whatever the issue is, right? But the medicine that he is like told by spirits to mix up hasn't affected her really well and stuff. And he's all like, yeah, but like, you are my, this pissed me the fuck off. Yeah, you're my, what does he say? Yeah, you being the mom kulu of it all. We're gonna fix this, we're gonna get it right, because you need to like give me an heir. And then she goes, yeah, don't even start with that, because what if they give me a girl? The best thing that can happen to you is for you to give birth to a motherfucking girl. Do you see why I can't watch these things? Like, what about a girl? Like, I can't believe I'm existing in a reality where we're still running with this idea that lineage is passed down through men. I find myself just short-circuiting the fuck about the place every time. That thought, like, I'm like, how are we still running with this lie? How? A lot of you come from, if your dad is the firstborn of his siblings, there's 1,000% chance that's not even his fucking daddy. So it would have made sense to have his lineage run through the line of his mom, because we know that's actually his mom. And you're out here calling clan names and doing all types of things of people who aren't you. But adoption is part of our customs. It's such a normal thing that we don't want to talk about. Like, it's such a normal thing. Like, it's such a normal thing. They've been doing it since time immemorial. But the point is, the obsession with blood that we have within, like, the realm of existing within, like, patriarchal societies and doing stuff like that. Laughable, ha ha ha, laughing at everybody because everybody's lying. Everybody knows this shit is a fucking lie. Okay? There is nothing about your girl that says that she can't inherit what you've built here and like push it forward and keep it going. There's literally, she's not any less your child or anything. The problem comes with when she marries some loser like Todd Tucker, and then she like gives away her last name, or she makes kids, and Candy pisses me the fuck off. Like, why she do all of that? I don't know why she did all of that. I don't know why Candy of Real Housewives of Atlanta did. I was always Team Mama. I saw him for his works. I could see it coming. And even through all of that, he had the air. This is Todd Tucker now. Do you see what the geriatric sperm does? Did you see? Did you see what just happened now? My dear. Stop that. Mama Mi was young. She was young. The eggs were fresh. The birth canal, she was clear for me. And then there was my daddy's sperm, gorgeous. This is it racing to meet the egg. Do this look like a race to you, bitch? Y'all gonna give birth to some slow kids. People are gonna be on the internet yelling at them, telling them you're slow because you just had to get with Mdala, my dear. Stop that. Get the fresh sperm. Fresh sperm. Right. The place is littered with fresh sperm. Because it's not real value to it. They just give it away, like, you know. So you can get some, a cup or whatever, but you can get some, you know. Love my dad, you know. But, you know, we must take stock of what we are and what we're not. The point is, get the fresh sperm. Because sometimes it is that sperm that's the problem. I really hope Kinele does I think in a society like ours where you're valued through this very, very narrow lens as a woman, and when you play the patriarchy princess games where perhaps you just have not been exposed to whatever, but you come from the space and you embrace the things about the space that define you in the ways that it does, and you're not able to essentially self-actualize through the same lens that is being imposed on you, which is like be a mother. That is your, your biological destiny, I believe is the verbiage that they like to use in these spaces and stuff. And you're not able to achieve this thing, and it's a wound. And it's also, I think that's why with the Promise and Owami thing, I'm always willing to hear Owami's like where she's coming from, mostly because like I disagree a lot with Promise's teachings or her older teachings or whatever her vibe is, but also because that's that place that she poked at around people being barren. I hate that word, because we're so like we flower in different ways. We bear different kind of fruits. I'm not barren because I don't have, like, reducing me to whether or not my body or my womb is able to make, like, I don't have other fruits that I've brought to my community if I haven't given birth. I hate it so much. She did it to Lerato Khanyago. So you can, like, that's why I'm always willing to, like, I don't think, I'm never going to be like, oh, I'm Bodele. I can't. And Khonse, that thing that she did to Kineilwene, low. And it's a thing. I think now she feels like, sure, you may be the mamkulu of it all in the scenario, but I'm making children, right? Like, so I'll always have one up on you because it's a competition for the affection of a man. Silly games. We're playing silly games, but I don't like when we do that to women. I do not like when we make women feel bad about something that they're not in control of, like whether or not they're able to have children. It hits a bit too close to me. It's around me quite a bit, and I see how much like the women around me struggle who have not been able to produce like that, and how they made to feel like they can't, or they this language that people who've given birth use, acting like the rest of us who have not experienced love, because it's like, oh, you don't know what it's like until you've given. Have you considered that you were lacking and that I had the ability to feel intensely without the person having to be an extension of me? Have you considered that it was you who was lacking and I was always capable of loving that hard, and it's a you thing? Have you thought about that for a second? Because it's very limited to just the person that came out of your body. I've also picked up on that, right? You don't grow this weird awakening of cherishing life as a whole and people. No. I've seen the way you move. This extends to just this extension of you. So, I don't know if you've really encountered this profound love, if it's so limited. I don't know. I don't think so. There should be enough of it to go around. But often it's not. That's not the case. I'm just saying. We're done with this family for now, but they have the makings to have a spin-off. They do. They just do. That man loves the camera. Very natural in front of a camera. Those are some of the towels, right? Musam Seruku is another one who fancied himself as a pastor. See, a spiritual leadership position. They're drawn to that power, and if they don't go this route, they'll get on a pulpit. But either way, they will position themselves as having direct contact to deity, to power, to whatever, and position themselves as the authority. Y'all fall for it every time. Every time. It's no man who's gonna teach me how to pray or nothing like that. It's never gonna be me. Can you tell I don't take men seriously for shit? Like, I think they need to earn their keep around here. And by that, I really mean like, they're heavy objects outside. You need to go pick them up or something. The bab tree cracked. Go hold it up. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, let's move on. The next couple we have that was interesting is, I'm taking so long, but it's because it's 3 episodes, y'all. Stick with me, yeah? The next couple that we're going to get into is Sussy. Sussy and her man. I have not committed his name to memory because, well, why would I? But whatever. Her man. And his face looks familiar. Maybe from social media. I don't know. I don't know them. But maybe, or maybe he has that face. I don't know what's going on, but what I can tell you is that you can't trust a chubby light-skinned dude with a funky hairstyle. That I just said right there, red flag, red, run. Okay? For your life. Okay? Get like custom motherfucking Semenya and get out. Otogobala there. Do you know? Oh my God. I had to let that out. Jeez, honestly, it's just us here. It's literally just us. The other people are not going to tune in because they're not here for the like reality television reviews. So it's just us. I can say this, okay? Anytime, guys, again with the spirituality, he's another one that fancies himself as a polygamist. And because you hoes are existing in a scarcity mindset, you want to fall for it or act like you're down for the cause, but it's not really what you're about. Sussy for me is the saddest of everybody. This man has her out here acting like she's got an appetite for coochie. And I'm not sure she do. I'm not really questioning her sexuality, but I suppose on the other side I am. Being bisexual does not necessarily mean you want to be polyamorous, right? They are saying that they're polyamorous, but they're not poly. They're not poly at all. He is a man who wants to have his cake and eat it, right? He wants the benefits of moving through society as a partnered man, a responsible family man, without doing the legalities of it. So he doesn't want to get married, right? Because he wants to be able to kick you out at a moment's notice and move in the new girl. That's what that shit is about. And I'm not even big on like, I want to get married, but we must interrogate the why. The why I don't want to, the why he doesn't want to, it's not the same. He doesn't want to because he doesn't want to afford you any kind of protections that you may have under the law within this contract. Because of the lifestyle he has, the way he's going about things, it feels like he's already made the calculation that he's not fit for a long-term monogamous relationship or long-term anything of any kind of with anybody that's not going to be a doormat like Sussy, right? Or act like she's into something because she's existing within the scarcity mindset of like this precious resource that as a man is going to like flee, least she act like she's down to the bikini bottom and trying to eat this way. Like, girl, please, okay, stop. You're not even, come on now, girl. Like, I feel like if she's bi, then she wants to date a woman at this period, right? And then if that ends and she's going about her life and the next person she's most drawn to happens to be a man, she wants to be in a relationship with that person. There is a lot going on here that lets me know as well that he takes zero. Sussy's lying. She's doing a lot of lying to self. Your man wanting to bring another woman into the relationship and you saying, yeah, cool, because I'm also bi. But here's what happened, those of you who didn't watch. The person he brought into the situation is not bisexual. She came into the situation because of him. He knew that. He knew that. And you know what it smells like? It smells like men lies, where he's gotten Sassy to agree to so many things outside of her comfort, seeing that she's abandoning her own boundaries and stuff. He felt he could get away with this as well, and he's going to, because he's doing it right now. Let me tell you what he's doing. He brought this woman into the relationship, right? And I forget her name. And they're living together, they're doing whatever. She's not into the dynamic of this being a triad of a situation. She's just with him. That's what he wants. He wants to be polygamous. He does not want to be polyamorous. This is about his fantasy. You hoes are here to play into his pimpology fantasies. That's your function here, Sassy. You're a bit slow. Okay? Try to keep up now. That's what he's doing here. He brought her knowing. And then he's like, over time, because I've gotten you to agree to these other things, I've pushed your boundaries to such a point that it's no boundaries no more. This is the other thing. I'm going to bring this person here. She has, full autonomy, if you would like, over. So she's just going to reject you. Right? She's going to reject you, but you're going to see how much I like her, so you're going to continue to accommodate her. She moved out. They were living in the same place or something. This girl that he had brought into the situation. She moved out, and they're still continuing to be in communication. Right? And Sassy's saying, oh no, I don't know how to feel about that, because I feel like if she left, it means we're broken up. No. You're not going to believe this. He went over to see Kinelu and Kinelu's Gobela husband, the polygamous family. I find it weird how they thought they had a leg to stand on and judge Sassy and the confused man try to figure out their shit as if they have their shit on lock or something. I don't know, girl. But while he was sitting with that man explaining the situation, that man says in his confessional, it feels like there's an element of coercion here. I was like, oh, read him, Mr. Go-Baylor. Read, sir. I was like, even that man can say it. That man can see it. Right? And I feel like it's double, not just the coercion of, is Sassy going to coerce this girl into like being a kissing lesbian? Or are this girl and Sassy's primary partner going to coerce Sassy into agreeing into a polygamous? Like, it's double, right? It's like here and here. Coerce her into eventually agreeing to the dynamic that he wanted to begin with. Because your fucking pleasure and what you're attracted to, it factors nowhere when he's picking a partner. And I know it doesn't factor anywhere because I don't hear an angle where Sassy is allowed to bring in a partner. Recruit, essentially, as it were. I don't hear that angle that she's allowed to bring a partner into the relationship. If it's always by way of him, it'll always be to feed his needs. Whatever the fuck you're into, Sassy, is always going to be at the back end because, first of all, it's possibly not even real. I think it's to save face. I think all of this, no, because I'm attracted to women too, is to save face of the fact that you're out here agreeing to Mjolo's Tembu. That's it, right? Acting like you're into, I don't want to call them new age, but like into alternative relationship setups, right? All of that stuff, fake. You want that man to yourself, and so does that girl. And that girl thinks you're stupid for having agreed to this and she's not going to agree to it, right? She moved out and he's still continuing to be in a relationship with her. And this is what happens with a man. If you allow a man to cross your boundaries, to push and push, to sell you onto things and convey, he's just gonna realize that, oh, he can get away with anything with you and do more and more and more. Because you ain't going nowhere, baby. You're not. You want a man. He's another one that invokes his faith to substantiate why, his argument rather for why this lifestyle. Says to the other man, no, in Islam, I'm allowed to be a polygamist. And then the other man's response is, but the same-sex stuff and the polyamorous angle of stuff, is that also allowed in your faith? And conveniently, like they all do, conveniently, he's like, yeah, I don't want to address that. That's not really, it's a bit more complicated, it's a bit touchy. But in as far as he can use this faith to bulk his argument for his lifestyle, he will use it. He will use it. He just will. Because that's who they are. Sassy's lying, y'all. Sassy's doing whatever she thinks it's going to take to keep that man. And it's sad to watch. She's going to walk away from this and be like, God damn. I did a lot for crumbs. I did a whole lot for crumbs. But anyway, it is what it is. That's how I feel about them. In as far as like relationship makeup, the makeup of a relationship that is outside of a man and a woman or just two people. So the triad shit that they're doing, the polyamorous shit that they're doing and stuff. I find it very interesting when we all giggle at it. I've heard people say, they don't work. Like, monogamy is not working, babe. That's why you have to convince yourself and come up with shit like boys will be boys. That's why you have to come up with stuff like the fact that men are visual and they have an appetite. That's why Promise Makunyani exists, to convince you to stay with a cheating man. It's already not working. Yeah. The version of it that works is the one where you as the woman accept the fact that you're in a monogamous relationship and your man is not. He just has to say he is with you. And when you catch him cheating, you gotta get over that because they all do it. Maybe because why? Monogamy is unnatural. Maybe that's why they're fucking doing it. It doesn't come naturally to everybody to just want to be with one person. None of it. Your little situations, you all are delusional about how those things are functioning in the success rate, of, including marriage. The success rate of that institution as well. Poor. We just have a way of like working around it where it's like the norm now. We've convinced ourselves that this thing makes sense. Mind you, there are plenty of societies where it's not a thing. People still share partners, right? I think the Messiahs still have that situation going on. And we all think that they're weird for it. But no, it's not working. I commend people who are working hard to ethically go about figuring out how to really cater to their appetites in a way that is not infringing on another person's rights. It's like you don't need to be a cheater. But the issue here with men is that they want to exploit you. Right? They want to be able to get the labor out of you as a significant other, as a monogamous partner, as a wife. They want those things, right? They want somebody when they have a loose stool because they don't caught all types of shit out there. Now they're your problem and stuff, and you're a good woman, so you're seeing them through all that shit. They want to have that stuff in place. So they can't risk saying to women, and then we also now have the conditioning that it's me and only me, and if it's not just gonna be me, then I don't want it, and blah blah blah, and all of this. It's not working. You're better off bumping heads trying to figure out what polyamory looks like to you, right? What if the primary partner thing works for you? What does it look like? Do I just sleep with other people? Do I get to have emotional relationships with other people? Does it really work? you're better off playing that game and trying to figure that out where everybody knows what's going on in that situation and it's somewhat ethical how you're going about it than this shit that we're all doing, acting like we have the answers and our thing is on lock. That's how I thought it was funny when Ginelo and her husband, the polygamists, were like, ooh, it's so complicated, the thing that they're doing over there. I don't, girl, how are you escalated to be a mamkulu? If you didn't come first, you didn't fucking come first, babe. See how you bent the rules there to make it make sense for you? Because nothing is set in stone. Like, this shit is a lot more fluid than we care to admit because we are, again, through the indoctrination and these fucking Abrahamic faiths, among other things, so obsessed with having things in cute little neat boxes. All because at some point in life, people without creativity were left in charge. And because they don't have color, they can't paint something bright, something different. They lacked vision, and now we're all left here to suffer for it, existing in these fucking stifling binaries. It is annoying. It is annoying. God made heaven and here. No, it is so, oh my God, I'm tired. Oh my God. Your thinking can't be that small. It's weird. I've said this to you guys as well. You as one human are so complex. You're not all good. You're not all bad. You may think because of your socialization, monogamy is what you want. 10 years in that relationship where you adore that guy, you find yourself connecting with another stranger because that person was a stranger at some point. Now you're struggling with these feelings that you need to demonize yourself for, feel horrible for yourself for experiencing a good feeling outside of this relationship. Because it's nice to get the butterflies, right? To want to start something new, but you need to feel bad about those feelings, right? And pull them in and rein them in. That only breeds resentment. That doesn't make you a bad person, right? And then now you act on those feelings, and because you made this promise here, you become so complex. And that act of you doing that thing, that is not the sum of you, right? It is crazy that you, with all your complexity, as one person, wants to believe that the order of the world is so black and white. My brain cannot. When I tell you I be going fucking crazy, and we can't blame it all on the 40-year-old sperm, you all. Some of this shit just don't make sense. Let's get into Annika and her man, girl. Annika is a white Makoti, an Afrikaner girl. I really felt like her and her sister should have been communicating in Afrikaans. Because the other people were communicating in a language that was comfortable, like switching in with the English and whatever. But her and her sister were communicating with, maybe that's how they speak. Maybe they have one English parent and Afrikaner parent, but I don't think so. Sorry. Anyway, apparently she's a big deal on social media. I wouldn't know because every time I encounter a white person doing something in black spaces, I go whoosh. That's what I do on my phone. If I see now, there's a white girl, she looks like a poor white. You know how they like tangerine in color? She looks like a poor white. And her whole shtick, she probably grew up on the farms and stuff, and maybe that's why. Because that kind of, like, poor whites tend to have, like, horrible sunburn, right? And all of that stuff, that hence the color there. You know, just terracotta. Okay, and her whole, thing, her whole thing on the internet is speaking my home language. Kimulobedu if you're new here, alright? Her whole thing on the internet is speaking my language, and we are within the area that I live in. I can with my chest say this, a marginalized tribe within the space that we exist in, the space that we share with other people. we've been othered quite a lot, and a lot of the stuff that's put on us is that we're funny, like we are the joke, right? Like the way we speak is like unsophisticated and it sounds so rough, and we haven't had good things said to us by people around us, right? And so when I see this girl do this performance of my home language, and it's so put on, and she's essentially a caricature of a huge part of my identity, I can't, there is nothing about it. I'm not like, oh, I'm just disgusted. I'm immediately bored, and I'm brought back to the fact that we will allow people to do the thing we do not even as good as we do and clap hands for them. They don't even gotta do it as well as we do it, and then we're out here Linda talking about how, oh, I saw you embracing our culture and doing this, and I'm like, oh my god, Linda bitch, you were not gonna get the same treatment as this white woman is getting in Makaya, okay? You were not, and you know that. Okay, that was not going to be your experience. So I don't know why you're going on and on and on about this. She's been able to monetize the culture of Ugotisa as Mutosa, and like it's a whole thing. She's saying that she's made like her first million over the past year across her social media platforms. I think she specifically said TikTok and Instagram. And she's saying all of this stuff, and I'm just like, good for her. I see other young Makotis, other black young Makotis as well, who've been able to monetize their Kotizing thing. And good for the girls, you know, get it how you live, girl. You gotta stack that paper for when it goes awry. I promise. Before, you know, you need to do all of that. But it's still a bother. Like, and I don't want to act like it's not like I be rolling my eyes. I'm just, oh my god. Because like it won't need to be anything. It won't need to be good. It's just the fact that she's white and she's doing it. And maybe it is good. I went through her, I'm still off TikTok. I went through her Instagram. There wasn't anything in particular where I was like, yeah, but points for consistency, right? Because sometimes we talk about how I can do it better, but she's actually doing it, right? We can talk about how we would put out better, but are we doing it? So good on her, girls, or whatever. She's married. They met when they were very young. I don't know how old they are now. Maybe in the mid-20s, late 20s. I don't know. Her and her man met when they were in university at Stellenbosch and stuff. They still have this like a young puppy love thing for each other, because essentially they're growing up together. They will not, like, somebody is going to outgrow somebody, then it's her. She's going to outgrow him because he's going to have to figure out his position to play in this life gig within her life, and redefining his role, how he decides he's going to identify and define his manhood outside of the perimeters that have been set for him. That's why you gotta do the work, baby. This is why you gotta do the work, because it will stifle you and it will drive a wedge between you and somebody that you are so in love with. But that ego and that very narrow way of defining yourself is gonna fuck this shit up for you quick. Annika sits down with her sister and tells her sister that my friend called me and was like, are you gonna watch this show? There's this white girl on there, she's doing this. I'm seeing people talk about how she's like emasculating him, and she's talking about having paid for this and that. I haven't dug into it properly, so I want you to go watch. If I want to review something, I have to watch it before I hear other people's takes on it, like other people online who are reviewing the show. I can't hear what they have to say before I sit and talk about it. So I'm really interested, after I edit this, to go and watch what other people had to say about them in particular, because they seem to be the hot button issue for everybody. I don't think there's anything that she said that was wrong. She said that when they got married, when they were getting married, they didn't do the lobola thing because Annika's mom didn't want to accept that money. She felt like she's taking money from their household that they need to start and set up their lives. I think that's fair. I think if you're going to marry outside of your culture, it's a give and take. you're gonna have to choose what is really important to you to keep in this thing. What are they giving? It cannot be that we're doing wholly this other person's thing if the other person's family is uncomfortable, especially because it's not and all of that stuff. And then Lutoma every month asking people for 200 rands for electricity. What was that for? You would have been buying the electricity with the monies. Do you see what I'm saying? So I think Anika's mom also had a bit more insight as to these kids are very young and all of that stuff, and I can't do this, right? He seems to be in an unfulfilled job, not a career, a job. And Annika has found her groove by way of exploiting his culture. She's found her groove on social media, and she feels like, she says to her sister, when I have him in the content performs like, wow, people love to see him. He's unhappy at this job that he's doing. I'm earning enough to hold the whole thing up. I'm doing it already. It makes no sense for him to be leaving the house and doing this thing when we can go all in on the content creation and make more for the household. She's telling her sister now. She's like, this, so because that's how I feel, I'm thinking of suggesting to him to quit his job, so we can go all in on the content thing together. But I don't want to emasculate him and take away that pride in being a provider and all of that stuff. And it's like, it's a delicate dance. She's trying to strike a delicate little balance there. I don't think there's anything wrong with the conversation she had, not even her wording. And I'm glad that she was like trying to work out her thoughts with somebody else before she goes to him. It's always helpful, especially if the person cares about you and your union and they want you to do well, and maybe they can find better verbiage to help you work through that. Or sometimes even when you're saying things out loud to another person, you can hear that, actually I sound ridiculous. Because sometimes something is in your head, like you address something with your partner and it's in your head and you're not saying it. It's making so much sense, and then you say it out loud to the next person. It's like, oh, that shit is actually not, it's not working. There's nothing wrong with what she said. It's again bringing us to a situation where we want things to be and things aren't. Yeah. We want them to, he's already not a provider. Just by you making that million that you told us that you made, within the framework that you guys exist in, he is already feeling emasculated. And it's showing up in his behavior, right? An unfulfilled man is a very dangerous man, because so much jealousy can start to build from that point. You don't want an idle man. Because they lack intrinsic worth, because they have that problem where if they are not doing, being a means of production where they get money for whatever they were producing and bring it back to you and going, here, I'm worthy of your affection. Because a lot of them lack the creativity, right? And that's like an energy linked to the same energy that can access source. They don't have it. Not about to lie to me, baby. They can read stuff. They don't. They can read stuff and learn stuff and try to act like they comprehend what it's like to be connected. Very few of them. Very few of them, my babe. And if they do, uber fame. Uber fame. Because that disdain for that energy that we have in culture, as it were, it's envy. Yeah, that's what that is. They show a clip of him chilling in a spot, and then she runs errands and she comes back and he's still just in the same spot. It's low-key giving. I'm not really saying that's what's going on with him. I'm saying I do this, and I do it when I'm having episodes. It's giving depression. Because as she's soaring on the internet, he is feeling left behind. And he might actually be in panic of, is she going to wake up and realize that I'm a loser? right? It's you're gonna wake up, and then with men often, and I'm not saying that's what he's doing. He's seeming like a sweet guy thus far. I'm not even gonna lie, okay? But with in these regular setups that we have, when they start to experience that, instead of saying let me improve myself, it's how can I sabotage her and shrink her a little bit so that she's not so soaring so high that I can't reach anymore, right? That's usually what they do. But that being idle, that inability to move when you are confined to a spot, even though you're trying, like you're like, okay, I gotta get up in the next 5 minutes, I need to leave this bed, and then before you know it, it's 3 hours and you're just like doom scrolling. You don't even know what you've been watching for a while, or you've like taken 10-15 naps since you've been up. You woke up, stayed in your bed, napped. Babe, you better ask me. All right? So there is like he's already experiencing that. So that now puts you in a situation where, do you then talk to your partner about what he feels manhood is and how he may want to rearrange his thoughts around that? Because even if he quits his job now and concentrates on the thing that you're doing, it's you taking the lead on that. And within the space again that you agree, like you are participating in this, you know, the parameters of this thing that you are having this union within, that's still you being the leader, and apparently it's not allowed. The leadership comes from the penis, and you don't have one. Okay, Annika, you don't have one. So it's so many things. The content creation thing is still you. That is your thing. That he's coming into your thing. Again, you would be taking the lead there. There is no solution within trying to force things to work within the structure of a relationship where he's not feeling emasculated. The only way this happens is for you guys to journey and redefine what makes you a good partner, and redefine what, like, he must do it for himself to say, but what makes me a man? And that's not gonna happen, because we're now in a situation where he wants to revisit the Maradi thing. He wants to visit loboling you because there's now a child, and culturally everybody feels like it was inappropriate. There needs to be a slaughter. We need to introduce the child to the ancestors. You know the customs, you know how the thing is and stuff. So he's digging his heels further in an attempt to prove that I'm still the man in this situation. I'm still a man. I can still do some of these things that prove that I'm a man, right? That make me feel like I'm a man and all of that stuff. It's not going to work. And for you to carry that weight, love can push but so far. It's like you are going to grow resentful of him. He's going to become a child that you have, a boy that you need to, like, you're going to feel like you got two kids, but you're instructing him to do stuff. Even you taking this lead, if he doesn't unlearn those things, you're going to feel like you're dragging a load, and that breeds resentment. You're carrying a load, it's going to breed resentment. It just is. And they're so young, so you would hope that they were not defining themselves through these very narrow ways, but it is what it is. We're all part of the society. Need water. And until you unlearn certain things, it just is what it is. And you know what, guys? I'm not saying this because I've done it. Personally, I don't want to be partnered with a man who... I know how to explain this. I find men so disingenuous, and I don't know how to explain it. Like, I don't want a comfortable man. Not really. I don't. Because what usually happens when a man is comfortable is that you end up carrying a load. There's just no in between with them. Because at all times they're trying to optimize what the situation is giving them. They're not to put themselves first, unlike us bitches. They know. They know how. A comfortable man, like a man who's like, yeah, I don't care how fucking sweet he is. I can't. No. It must be grind. It must be grind. It just must be, because then I'd be doing the grinding. I like having all my discs in my back. I don't want to do that to myself. No, I don't want to carry you. I don't. I think everybody needs to pull their own weight around here. I find life throws us lemons sometimes. You get retrenched, you do this, and then for a period I'm carrying the load. That's life. That's normal. I feel that there's, I'm perfectly fine with that situation. That's just life. That's regular people doing regular shit. It just is, right? But like, no, so I've donkey. That's the thing. Like, yo, I'm gonna donkey these people. They will resent you for staying with them when they hate it themselves. Because it's like, you dumb bitch, I'm nothing. Why do you like me? You're a dummy. And when they get on, you being around reminds them of that version of themselves when they weren't shit. They're not keeping you around, bitch. They're getting a new bitch that just knows them as that dude, that you know, that big boy. They're getting that girl who looks at him like he has answers and stuff. Not you, who's like, like, it's not like, I don't know more about, they don't want to be reminded of those versions of themselves. We like to look back and be like, growth, I've come so far, and be proud of that version of ourselves and love on that version of ourselves that didn't have their shit together. It's embarrassing for them. They don't want to look back. They always want to act like this shit has always been good. Like, I've always been like Vince McMahon. Like, they just... So I wouldn't want that. So I don't know how Annika is going to go about the situation, but I don't think there was anything the matter with her having the conversation the way she had it and stuff. He seems a sweet enough man, so I hope they can find a way to navigate while checking in with him, because it's muddied, right? It's not nice to not be in purpose, to not feel like you're not on journey, because that's exactly where I am in my life right now. I just feel like I am flirting about aimlessly, and there is just nothing to hold on to, and I'm like clutching at fucking air, and there's just nothing, and I'm taking in like bucket loads in my mouth of the salty water, just drifting out there at sea. There's nothing for me to hold on to. That's what it feels like. That is what it feels like. And there's nothing inside. It's just endless. I want to say blue, but like the ocean at night. That's what the fuck it feels like. But like, you're not dying. You just keep swallowing the salty water, and it keeps happening and it keeps happening. And at no point, like, there's no reprieve whatsoever. And it just... doing that, trying to raise a very young, you know, child. They have a little baby, trying to navigate a young marriage. Your wife having found her thing, and part of it includes putting you out there in the spotlight and having to hear the opinions of people like me. Mentally, I am not sure this is the right move for him. I'm not sure it's the right move, but luckily we're male identified in this in this country. Luckily for him. So women, black women in particular, who feel like that white woman stole a good man from them, or feel like culturally she's overstepping or whatever, they'll come out and defend him and be like, how dare you speak about your man like that. Luckily for him. But I don't know if maybe they have those conversations openly and none of this is going to come as a shock or what have you. But yeah, man, hopefully they're going to work it out. I think they're cute. Maybe their little cute thing going there. Yeah, that's all. Sassy baby. You ain't trying to eat no coochie, babe. Not right now, no way. Maybe sometimes you did, and you will in future, but right now, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't care if you just came out of a relationship with a woman. You're not trying to be eating that coochie right now. That's not what you're trying to be doing right now. You're saying it's what you want to be doing because of that man. Good luck. Good luck, my dear. Bye, Ella.